There are books so dangerous that merely owning them was once considered crime. One of those books was written 500 years ago by a man named Niccolò Machiavelli. His book, The Prince, was banned by the Catholic Church, condemned as heresy, and whispered about as the manual of evil. To this day, his name is used as an insult, Machiavellian, a synonym for manipulation, corruption, deceit. That's what you've been told. But here's what they never told you. Rulers, kings, and generals kept copies of his book hidden in their chambers. They studied it in private while publicly denouncing it, because Machiavelli didn't write fairy tales about morality. He wrote the truths about power that no one wanted exposed. And that's why you've never been taught them. Your father didn't teach you these truths. Your teachers didn't. Society certainly didn't. Instead, you were fed lies designed to make you obedient. Just be nice, and people will like you. Loyalty is always a virtue. Authenticity means showing your true self without filters. All comforting slogans, all traps, but Machiavelli knew better. He saw human beings as they are, not as they pretend to be. He understood that loyalty without reciprocity is weakness. That reputation is more powerful than reality. That conflict is inevitable. That nice is often just another word for weak. He wrote it down, and the world panicked because the truth threatens those who build their power on illusion. And yet here you are, centuries later, about to hear what countless men lived and died never knowing. You were denied this knowledge on purpose. Because men who see clearly are harder to control. What you're about to hear will not make you comfortable. It will not make you popular, but it will make you dangerous. That I shouldn't be teaching you this. But here we are. Machiavelli once wrote, "Men judge more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel." In other words, people don't measure reality by what it is. They measure it by how it looks. That we like to believe human beings are rational creatures. That we weigh facts, think carefully, and make the smartest choices. But watch people closely and you'll see something very different. They act on appearances, on feelings, on whatever gives them the quickest sense of comfort. Logic is slow. Emotion is instant. And in the game of power, speed always wins. History gives us countless examples. In Rome, politicians knew the fastest way to control the masses wasn't through reasoned debate, it was through spectacle. Gladiator games, parades, public feasts, bread and circuses swayed more votes than any argument. The citizens believed they were making decisions. In reality, they were being managed through pleasure and distraction. And the same dynamic rules today. Politicians still win elections, less with policy and more with image. They know that a sharp suit, a confident smile, and the right soundbite move people faster than any argument about taxes or laws. In dating, how often have you seen someone say they want honesty, kindness, and stability, but then chase the person who excites them, who looks powerful, who makes them feel alive? The nice guy who plays by logic is ignored. The one who knows how to spark emotion holds the advantage. Even in consumerism, the pattern repeats. Millions complain about being broke while handing money daily to companies that make them feel special, stylish, or superior. It's not rational, but it is predictable. Think of your own life. Maybe you've given advice to a friend that would have genuinely helped them. Study harder, save money, leave the toxic relationship. They nodded, agreed, even thank you, and then ignored every word. Why? Because your advice required effort and discipline, while their emotions demanded comfort and ease. People don't chase what's best for them. They chase what feels best in the moment. Machiavelli's warning is clear. If you try to move people with logic, you will lose to the one who moves them with emotion. The man who masters appearances, tone, and timing holds more influence than the one armed with facts. This is your first weapon. Don't try to convince people with what you think is rational. Show them what flatters their image. Speak to their pride, their desire, their fear of loss. Give them a story they want to believe, and they will believe it. Because human beings are not calculators. They are mirrors reflecting back the emotions you hand them. And that raises a question Machiavelli would ask. If people are so ruled by feelings, what happens when you give them loyalty they never return? Machiavelli wrote, "It is safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." These words have been twisted into something sinister, but their meaning is brutally practical. Love without strength invites betrayal. Fear without respect breeds rebellion. But between the two, fear holds ground longer than love ever will. That you've been taught since childhood that loyalty is always a virtue. Be loyal to your friends, to your company, to your partner, to your nation. Blind loyalty, you were told, is noble. But Machiavelli knew a darker truth. Blind loyalty is weakness, and weakness will always be exploited. Think about the friend who only calls when they need a favor. They vanish when your life crumbles, but suddenly return when theirs does. They're not loyal to you. They're loyal to their own comfort. Yet countless men continue giving to such friends, hoping loyalty will one day be repaid. It won't. Or the company that preaches we're a family here. They hang posters about integrity and loyalty in the office. They celebrate you when it benefits them. But the moment profits dip, your loyalty means nothing. You're replaced by someone cheaper. Their loyalty was performance. Yours was real, and you lost because of it. Even in relationships, the trap repeats. The partner who expects commitment while keeping their own options open. The one who demands you be faithful while entertaining attention from others. And still, too many men cling to loyalty as if it will magically inspire reciprocity. It doesn't. History tells the same story. Kings who trusted allies blindly were overthrown by the very men they protected. Generals destroyed because they believed loyalty could be assumed rather than enforced. The pattern is timeless. Loyalty without strength is not virtue. It is an invitation to be used. Machiavelli's lesson is clear. Loyalty is a contract, not a gift. It must be earned and it must be mutual. When loyalty flows only one way, it becomes exploitation. So here is your weapon. Be generous with loyalty, but ruthless in withdrawing it when it is betrayed. Show kindness, yes. Invest in people, yes. But the moment you realize your loyalty is being pocketed without return, cut the cord. Because a man who continues to give loyalty to the disloyal is not virtuous. He's a fool. And fools are not remembered. They're trampled. This doesn't mean you should never be loyal. It means loyalty should be strategic. Give it where it strengthens you. Guard it where it weakens you. Think of the men you admire most, not because they gave their loyalty freely, but because they demanded it be respected. They did not allow themselves to be used. This is the paradox. Loyalty can be your greatest strength or your most fatal flaw. Blind, endless loyalty will bury you. Strategic, conditional loyalty will protect you. Machiavelli did not tell rulers to avoid loyalty. He told them to control it, to ensure it was never given without purpose, never left unrewarded. The next time you're told that loyalty is always noble, remember this. The world does not reward loyalty by itself. The world rewards value, strength, and reciprocity. Inspire loyalty through what you give, but withdraw at the moment it becomes a leash around your neck. Because in the end, loyalty without reciprocity is not loyalty, it's servitude. And the man who serves endlessly without return will eventually break. But loyalty on its own is not enough. Because in a world where perception outweighs reality, the question is not only whether you are loyal, it's how you are seen. And Machiavelli warned that your reputation decides everything. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few know what you are." These words hold the key to one of the most uncomfortable truths in human nature. Perception outweighs reality. You may believe that your skills, your intentions, and your character speak for themselves. But Machiavelli knew better. People rarely judge you by what you actually are. They judge you by what they think you are. Reputation is the currency of power. Without it, even the strongest abilities can be ignored. With it, even weakness can be disguised as strength. History proves this again and again. Julius Caesar's reputation for decisiveness carried him farther than any single victory. Napoleon cultivated the image of a brilliant general long before he became one, and that image inspired loyalty, fear, and obedience. In modern times, CEOs craft reputations as visionary leaders, not because they're always right, but because the appearance of confidence is more powerful than doubt. The myth matters more than the man. And yet, look at how most people live today. They overshare on social media, exposing every insecurity and flaw. They confuse authenticity with broadcasting raw emotion. They vent online, hoping for sympathy, but what they truly lose is respect. The more people see of your chaos, the less they believe in your stability. The more you explain yourself, the less powerful you appear. Machiavelli understood that reputation must be built with strategy, not with endless exposure, but with control. Scarcity creates value. Speak less, and when you do, make it matter. Never complain publicly, because weakness attracts predators. And never explain your decisions to those who have no influence over your life. It only reduces your authority. This is your formula. Consistency plus mystery plus control vulnerability equals power. Consistency shows reliability. People know what to expect from you. Mystery adds intrigue. People lean in when they don't know everything. Controlled vulnerability, shared rarely and with purpose, creates connection without eroding respect. Together, these elements forge a reputation stronger than talent alone. Think of the men you admire. Do they tell the world every secret? Do they rush to defend themselves when criticized? Or do they project calm, control, and confidence, letting their reputation speak louder than their explanations? Reputation is not built in a moment. It is built in patterns. Machiavelli's insight is harsh but liberating. The truth of who you are matters far less than the story others believe about you. And if you don't control that story, someone else will. But even the strongest reputation is not invincible, because Machiavelli also warned that life is not peace, it is conflict, and reputation alone will not protect you from the inevitable battles ahead. Machiavelli warned, war cannot be avoided. It can only be postponed to the advantage of others. His words weren't only about armies. They were about life itself. Conflict is not an event. It is the background of existence. Every career, every relationship, every friendship carries invisible battles. Someone wants your position at work. Someone tests your boundaries in a relationship. Someone quietly competes with you in social circles. You may not notice it, but the game is always being played. And if you aren't prepared, you're already losing. Rome learned this too late. At its height, the empire commanded wealth, land, and influence beyond measure. But prosperity made the rulers complacent. They neglected discipline, ignored their enemies, and lived as if peace were permanent. When the invasions came, they fell, not because they were weak in theory, but because they were unprepared in practice. The same mistake repeats today. Employees who believe their jobs are secure, until layoffs strip away years of loyalty in a single meeting. Lovers who believe their relationships are unbreakable, until neglect makes space for betrayal. Men who believe health is guaranteed, until weakness robs them of strength. The truth is simple. Those who prepare in peace survive the war. Those who don't fall quickly. And here's the paradox Machiavelli understood. The prepared rarely have to fight. Why? Because readiness radiates. The man who is financially secure, physically strong, and mentally sharp is less likely to be attacked. Predators sense when a target is easy. The same is true in nature, in politics, and in everyday life. What does preparation look like? It isn't paranoia. It is discipline. Build skills when no one is watching. Save money when it feels unnecessary. Train your body when there's no threat on the horizon. Strengthen your mind before the storm arrives. Build networks and alliances before you need them. These habits create a shield long before the first strike ever comes. The world rewards those who prepare in silence, and it punishes those who confuse comfort for safety. Because safety doesn't exist, only readiness does. And this leads directly to Machiavelli's next warning. When kindness is offered without strength, it isn't seen as virtue. It's mistaken for weakness. From the time you were young, you were probably told some version of the same rule. Just be nice, and people will like you. At first, it sounds harmless, even virtuous. But Machiavelli would have called it a dangerous lie. Why? Because being nice is not the same thing as being good. Nice means avoiding conflict. Good means doing what is right, even when it's hard. Nice is about pleasing others. Good is about standing on principles. Niceness is weakness wearing a smile. And weakness, no matter how polite, always invites exploitation. That you've seen this play out countless times. The nice guy in dating who avoids difficult conversations. He doesn't speak up when he's uncomfortable. He never sets boundaries. He says what he thinks people want to hear, hoping it will earn him affection, but doesn't. Instead, he's overlooked, disrespected, or abandoned. Not because kindness is unattractive, but because weakness is. Now contrast him with the man who is genuinely good. He may still be kind. He may even be gentle, but he isn't afraid of confrontation. If something is wrong, he addresses it directly. If a boundary is crossed, he enforces it. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. His strength makes his kindness real. People respect him because he does what's right, not because he avoids what's uncomfortable. The workplace is no different. The nice employee says yes to everything. They take on extra work, stay late, cover for others, all without question. At first, people praise their helpfulness, but over time, the same people take advantage of it. The nice employee becomes the dumping ground for everyone else's responsibilities. And when the promotion comes, it rarely goes to them. Why? Because niceness isn't leadership, it's submission. Now consider the good employee. They also work hard. They also contribute, but they know when to say no. They understand their value and they guard their time. They're fair and cooperative, but they don't sacrifice themselves to be liked. And because of this, they are respected. Their boundaries, combined with their competence, create authority. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He wrote, "Men are so simple and so much inclined to immediate needs that a deceiver will never lack victims." Niceness is the fastest way to become one of those victims. The nice man deceives himself into thinking that avoiding conflict will earn love. In reality, it earns dependence from others who exploit him and contempt from those who see through his fear. Goodness, by contrast, is rooted in strength. It doesn't mean cruelty. It doesn't mean domination. It means the courage to say no when necessary, to face discomfort when it's required, and to act with fairness even when it costs something. Goodness built on strength is respected. Niceness built on weakness is ignored. This distinction is why so many nice guys feel invisible. They confuse politeness with virtue, but people can sense the difference. A strong man who chooses to be kind is magnetic because his kindness carries weight. A weak man who tries to be nice is repulsive because his niceness is only fear dressed up as virtue. So here is your weapon. Be fair. Be just. Show kindness when you can, but never, ever make it your strategy. Do not hand out approval like a bribe. Do not hide behind smiles to avoid conflict. And never believe that being nice will protect you. It won't. It will only paint a target on your back. Because here is Machiavelli's final lesson. Strength without kindness can become cruelty, but kindness without strength will always be mistaken for weakness. The world does not reward weakness. It consumes it. And once you understand this, the only question left is not whether you are nice or even whether you are good. The question is, can you ever be ignored again? You've now heard Machiavelli's 5 warnings. Truths so unsettling they were buried for centuries. But before you leave, remember this. Knowledge like this is not safe. It doesn't make you comfortable. It makes you dangerous. Think back through what you've learned. First, people are not rational. They are emotional. They don't follow logic. They follow appearances, desires, and fears. If you try to move them with reason, you will lose to the one who moves them with feeling. Second, loyalty without reciprocity is weakness. Blind loyalty is not noble, it is servitude. The man who gives endlessly to the disloyal is not remembered for his virtue. He is remembered as a fool. Third, reputation is power. What people see matters more than who you are. If you don't control the story, someone else will write it for you. And in the game of power, appearance is not deception, it is survival. Fourth, conflict is inevitable. Peace is never permanent. It is only the pause before the next battle. Those who prepare in times of calm rarely have to fight. Those who don't are destroyed by the first strike. And finally, kindness is not weakness. Niceness is. Nice men hide from conflict, seek approval, and are forgotten. Good men, strong men, stand firm even when it costs them. Strength with kindness is respected. Weakness with niceness is consumed. These are Machiavelli's lessons, and they are not just theories. They are the operating manual for human behavior, written in blood, betrayal, and history. That's why society never taught them to you. Because a man who knows these truths cannot be easily controlled. He cannot be bent with guilt, tricked with slogans, or broken with empty promises. Machiavelli himself said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." But the real warning isn't about others, it's about you. Because the greatest danger is not being blind to other people's motives. It is being blind to your OWNS. Ask yourself, where in your life have you mistaken niceness for virtue? Where have you given loyalty without receiving it? Where have you believed reason mattered more than appearance? These are not abstract questions. They're the cracks in your own armor. And if you don't face them, someone else will use them against you. Now, comes the choice. You can close this and pretend you never heard it. You can return to the comfort of illusions, hoping niceness will earn love, hoping loyalty will be rewarded, hoping truth will win over perception. That's what most men do. And most men live and die as pawns. Or you can carry this knowledge with you. But if you do, understand what it means. The next time you walk into a room, you'll notice the masks. The next time someone flatters you, you'll see the weakness behind it. The next time conflict stirs, you'll know who is prepared and who is already lost. You won't be able to unsee it. And that is both a gift and a curse. So here is my final warning. If this shifted something in you, if you felt the mask slip, then you already know this cannot be the last warning. The next lesson will not comfort you. It will make you untouchable, but only if you're ready to face what others deny. If you're not, stop here. Forget this ever happened. But if you are, then you know where to find me.